And we are going live. Hi, welcome. My name is Jade Thomas. I'm a business and communication advisor with Jade Strategic Relations, and we're here to help businesses connect with people connect with what matters most. And what matters most depends on you. And so our goal at Jade Strategic Relations is to help businesses become bigger, stronger, allow business owners and the people they employ to become much stronger at what they do and grow. And this is at the heart of what we do, whether it be in finding processes that help a business do things more efficiently, which allows them to grow in the areas they need to, or if it's marketing and messaging and public relations, how do you get the right messaging out there? That's what we're here for. And these videos we do weekly are here to help people, whether sometimes it's communications, sometimes for individuals, it can be for businesses, it can be for anybody. There's messages in there for everyone. And a lot of business tips because there's a lot of information out there, a lot of places to get information, and obviously I don't create any of this myself, but I do aggregate different bits of information from different places to help benefit you. And whatever you can take away from this is going to be this is what our goal is, to help you become aware of what is available, what is possible. And business owners, I've been a business and communication advisor for a number of years and work with businesses small and large. And they all start somewhere. Businesses all start with somebody who wants to do something. They have a product or a service that they really believe in and they want to, they like. And so they want to get it out to the world. And the problem is that the business of business, that part of the business that helps things run, and the things like, how do you make sure that it runs properly? How do you make sure that you're going according to business codes and ethics, making sure that you are doing things within your environment that are appropriate for the industry. There's a lot that goes on with the business, and we wanted to help out. And you start off a business, some businesses start off with just one or maybe two people, and they grow, and you get to a point where you need to bring in more people. And this is where we're trying to help you today, is with it's the employee process, but this also works for if you're looking for virtual assistants. This process that we're going to talk about is essentially just trying to help you take load off of what you're trying to do. Now, if you look at your business vision and your mission, and you look at, hey, here's the world we're trying to create with this product, with this service, whatever it might be, and you want to get it out to the world. So the point of this is to really say, okay, I've got to a point where I'm growing. I've too much on my plate. I've got enough clients to keep me going here, but I'm not getting things done, and I need to do this. So you just need to bring in some other resources. And many believe that, okay, this is not it's not the time. I don't have the money. I didn't see myself as bringing anybody else on. But if you think about the fact that as a business, as somebody who wants to do this for a living, and you need to be able to scale to a point where you are handling more customers. You may get to a point where you're happy where you are, but if you start getting more customers and clients, and you are not able to maintain that, you're not able to maintain the workload, then what happens is you start to hurt your business. And this is where I talk about all the time with my clients, is about the trade-offs, cost versus damage. And if you're busy and you're doing the things you're selling, you're helping provide the product or service to the people who need it, and you're there, you're doing everything you can, then you're starting to fall behind because it's just getting too far extended, then there's a time where you need to grow. And the cost is, there's two, it's actually, it all just comes down to cost. But the cost up front is, how much am I putting out to employ somebody to come in and take up those duties that will help me become more efficient and keep me going. The cost on the other side of that is, if you build up your company and you're making enough money to pay for somebody, that's great. It's time. You definitely need to get out there. But then there comes the other side where you're struggling. You're almost there, but what happens is you are very busy, and you're not able to make those. I think, let me just check on something here, audio. Yeah, I guess everybody, I just had a little, someone was just texting me, letting me know that there was a little bit of problem with the audio, but the audio seems to be going fine. So I'm going to continue. So you're at this cost benefit area, and you're looking at the fact that you have to put in the money to bring somebody in, and you may be just shy of being able to do that. Some businesses run really tight on margins, and there's not a lot of money. But what happens is if you get to a point where you are too far behind and your customers are starting to not like your service, then that's damaging to your business, and you'll soon not have a problem with that because people will stop coming to you. You're going to get a reputation. Your brand will be of somebody who cannot keep up and cannot service them. And some people, if you tell them, hey, I'm a little behind, I'm working on it, I'm just over my head. Some people may have, some clients and customers may be acceptable to that. They think, okay, I get it. But some of them will say, I don't care, I'm here for this, and you're not providing it. So there's the damage to your brand, which is a cost in itself. So you need to understand where that cost inflection point is going to be. Are you going to take the hit ahead of time, pay somebody, maybe agree with a lower amount, and as things get a little bit better, you'll pay them more? Or maybe it's you are going to try to weather that storm, take the hit, get the money in that's going to allow you to afford it. It's a balancing act. It's not easy. And you do need to make sure that it works well for your business. And so I'm just going to make sure that this is going well here. All right. So I'm going to keep going. And so now you're at the point where you're trying to figure out, okay, this is just getting too much for me. I need to grow. What do I do next? Well, you create a job profile. You create a list of essentially the duties and responsibilities for the person that you were going to bring in. And this starts by making a list of what you do. If you're a solopreneur, if you're a business team and there's 2 or maybe 3 of you and you're all just slammed, you're trying to figure out what to do, have everyone make a list of here's my role, here's my responsibilities, write it all out. Here's the thing I do. Take some time to do it. Understand where your efforts are going out, as well as what are you not getting to. Each person in this organization, whether it's 1 person or 4 or 10, you need to have an understanding of who's doing what roles are getting done, and what isn't getting done. And then you sparse out which things could go to somebody else to do. You're a business owner, it's a lot of it, especially if you started it yourself, you don't feel you can bring in somebody necessarily because they don't know your business. That's not true. You can bring somebody in that will allow you to help you understand how someone that they may have skills that fill those roles, but maybe it's just a matter of having somebody come in to take up those things, and you teach them some of that workload. But you need if you're going out to hire somebody, you need that list, and that list can come from what are the things that you're doing that you're overloaded on that maybe you don't want to do, and what is it that you need done that's not getting done, and then the job starts to flesh out. You start to see who it is that you're looking to hire and what the role is. And then you go to job sites. There's a lot of jobs out there if you're having trouble with job titles and compensation for it. What is appropriate for those things that you're looking to hire out? And you can hire someone for just a couple days a week. Maybe it's just for specific services. Maybe you're hiring a bookkeeper, and maybe you're hiring a virtual assistant for, again, it could be virtual assistant or just somebody in-house, an assistant to help with marketing, to help with posting social media, doing different aspects of the role that aren't getting done. Now, and this is where I caution, especially when it comes to some taxes and having somebody coming and do your books and doing your social media, you need to be able to trust that they know who you are. This is very important. There's a lot of companies out there, a lot of businesses that will help you post your social media, and they call themselves public relations companies. They're not. They're the social media companies. Public relations is far more the bigger realm than just we do social media. Marketing requires marketing and promotions is more than just about a post. There's a lot of intent behind it. This targeting, figuring out who you're going to, who you're sending your message to. That generation process, they need to know who you are, what you're about. They need to know your industry. If those people you're looking to hire don't know these things, then you keep looking for somebody. And this is the same as whether it's, again, a person employing them, whether you're employing them or you're having some just outsourcing that work. This whole process works the exact same way. So my recommendation is to once you've got this figured out, you've got the role description, you've figured out what you're doing, you're finding out the job title and what the appropriate compensation is, and you figure out what you can do with that. So if a compensation is X amount a year, you say, okay, well, that's for a full-time, we're only going to hire someone for 3 days a month. There's going to be a lot of people who will take that work and do a great job with it. Their situation is whatever it might be. Maybe they've got a different role. Maybe they're growing a family and they need to have time for home, but they've got some cycles available. Don't project what is going to stop somebody from taking a job. If it's just identify who it is that you need to take up what roles and how much time it's going to take for that versus how much they can afford. So then you've got this list and you've got your job posting, you're almost ready there. You think you're set to go, but there's a lot more to go and there's a lot more work you need to do. And one of the big things is figure out where you're posting, because where you're posting for a role is as important as if you're looking for customers. You need to identify who it is. And I'm going to go back to the job creation profile for a second here. Create a profile. It's not just a list of the persons you're going to just the job responsibilities. You want to have a profile outlining what the person's characteristics are like, because this is just as important as the function. You have a business, you're trying to create a world with your vision in mind, and you're trying to get things done. And some people, okay, whatever, that's a little fluff, fine, but you're trying to get somewhere. And you need to have somebody that's going to fit your business. So you need to understand that, one, who you are and what you represent, but two, how will this person fit in there, their personality, their attitude, their aptitude. You hire on attitude and aptitude, and then skills and education. Education is almost last unless you have a specific industry standard. Education, you can teach people a bunch of things, but if they don't have the right attitude and they don't have the right aptitude, if they're not a good fit for your company, you're gonna be frustrated with them. They're gonna have frustrations themselves, and you're gonna be back to hiring again. If you want to hire the right people, you need to know who they are, what they look like, because this is just like if you're going out there and trying to figure out who's an ideal client for you, who your ideal customers are. You're doing the same work. Identifying who are the people that have this need, who are the people that have the desires for the things that I'm trying to sell, and which problems I'm trying to solve, and that's how you speak to them. And it's the same with the job process when you're employing somebody, when you're hiring someone for tasks. Who are they? What are they like? What do they know? What do they care about? When you understand these things and you create an employee profile as who you want to bring in, that makes it a lot easier to find the person that's going to get in and stay with your business. So create that profile. You've got their job description, create the identity, their profile, figure out who they are, what they're like. Avoid employing family and friends. People want to all the time. And if you've got a great relationship with somebody that you may want to bring in, you may find that relationship will get strained with these things, with the stresses. It's your business. Maybe they are going to be a good fit. Maybe that you've got this agreement when you get in with somebody who comes in to do this, you have that agreement with them. But when you're looking for somebody to hire, just looking because they are family or they're friends of their family of a friend or they're a friend themselves. That leads to problems. Imagine a time where something goes wrong, where you have to let them go, or there's a problem with payroll, or there's something going on. Imagine those scenarios, because those types of things will strain that relationship and give you problems later on. So be careful when you're going out there and trying to hire based on those factors. Very important to get it right. But then it comes down to, you understand, you've got your profile, you've got your list of the qualifications that they're going to need to meet. And then you go there and figure out where you're going to post, because where you're going to post it matters as much as where you're going to promote your products and services. And there are job sites, there's LinkedIn, there's a lot of other places you can go, the places where you found the descriptions, and maybe that is a great place. Maybe if you're a brick and mortar, maybe if you're local, you want to hire someone local, and you put up ads somewhere, or you put up flyers and spread the word there. Hey, you're looking to hire somebody with these skills. You can go out there and look for, if it's especially for virtual assistant or for specific roles, look for those people out there that in your community that have those and that have those needs. Just because you have this list of what you want to post doesn't mean you have to go post it. If you can find somebody that meets those criteria, both personality as well as skill set, then you're going to have a much better time in finding the person that's going to fit right for that, for your company. So understanding this whole process full right through, and maybe you're a little more established, maybe you are a big business, and maybe you're a hiring manager. And I've been a hiring manager in companies, and I've sat across and done interviews and brought people in, and you're growing a team. Your team is as important as the business. So you want to make sure that you have the same things going on with this. Maybe the job posting's already there. Maybe you've already lost somebody, you need to hire somebody. But going through this process, making the profile, understanding their fit is very important. And then it comes to, and the profile really matters when it comes to the interview. So you've got out there, you've got now somebody in front of you, you've put your promotion out there, you've got a bunch of names coming, responding to you, you've got resumes, and people are coming to you. Now you're sitting in the interview. And the interview requires you asking the right questions. And it's not just about your skills, and not just about their skills, not just about what their experience is. It's about, what do they see as work? And does that align with your vision? What do you do in this scenario? Maybe it's, we're in between customers, and there's something, what are you doing in between? Maybe it's about, you have a difficult situation. Somebody present a scenario that happens when you're dealing with customers, or whatever this role entails, and put them in those situations. Imagine them, have them imagine themselves, and find out what they do. How do they act? How do they deal with things? Because that's going to tell you who they are and whether they're a right fit or not. And there are questions, if you have the experience to understand why you ask questions. I've been in situations where I've had someone in HR, people trained in psychology, when they ask questions like, if you had a superpower, what kind of superpower would it be? Or if you were an animal, what animal would you be? Those questions are not fluff questions. Those are to figure out how the person answers. I've been in a situation where they asked, if you had a superpower, what would you want it to be? And they said invisibility. And this was a sales position that we were hiring for. And that's not a person you necessarily want. You want to know why they want to be, why invisibility is important to them. They've got something going on in their life, but maybe it's just that moment. But if you need somebody who's forward facing, you don't want them to be invisible. And so there's reasons you ask for these questions. And you have to understand the reason. You have to be able to pick it apart and understand it. And there's lots of places online you can check out to train you on that. But understanding what a person is like in those roles, in those scenarios, is going to be important. And your checklist, you should have a checklist for each and every employee. Small business, whether you're one person, whether you're small, whether you're a hair salon, whether you're a marketing manager or the big firm, whatever it might be, it is your role. You want to be interviewing multiple people, and you want to have that checklist, because it's got to be the same. So you evaluate people over and over again. You need to look and go, oh, okay, this person had these extra things, and this person had these. How does it all work out? I've seen where people just interview one person, and they go, okay, you're done. Even if you think it's the right fit, never do that. Interview multiple people and asking them questions about their attitude, about their aptitude, about their skills, and then about their education. And that's the order. And we've got checklists. If you want, we can help you out with a checklist that will allow you to go through, and we can help you with the interview process, because that is the pivotal point. Once you get somebody in front of you, are they going to be the right person, not just for the role, but for your business? Now, making the decision. It's important to understand the criteria, because you've got these things, you've got a whole bunch of people, maybe you got 5 or 6 really good candidates, and making that decision is tough. There's different ways you can go about it. I've seen businesses where they've hired all 3 people on a part-time basis. They were compensated for their time, and they had 1 day a week for a period of time until they got to a point where, okay, we need to flesh it out. Some people may not be in for that, and that's fine. But you need to figure out how to make that decision appropriately. And again, it's more than just, if you interview enough people, it'll start to be clear. And you'll have personal notes underneath, and just, okay, this person I felt kind of got us. And it goes back to, if you think about Simon Sinek, and he talks about and a lot of people, it's the limbic brain, and having that gut feeling, that gut feeling from down low, or that part in the back of your head going, this just feels right. Those aren't things you can necessarily quantify. If it feels right, go with your gut. Go with your gut, even if it goes against what your mind says. Because this person, I shouldn't say that, it's not strictly that, but someone on paper may look right, and it may look great, and they may interview well, but if you just don't get the right feeling that there's something wrong with that, just something that came off differently, you're probably right. Malcolm Gladwell talks about this attribute in Blink, how people will sometimes ignore, it's the power of thinking without thinking. And it's a great book. I highly recommend the read. But it's a way of understanding that something feels right about this. I'm going to go with this. So it's definitely think about who feels right. Put down notes as you're interviewing, and then that will go a long way in helping you make the right decision. You shake in their hand. You said, okay, let's get you started here. Onboarding is the most important part of this process now. As important as everything else, but if you don't have an onboarding plan, and this is where a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, fail, is the plan to how do you bring this person on. And this is why we're talking about this now, but hopefully you're ahead of this is helping you in the process, that you're figuring this out. But knowing how the person, what software systems, what hardware, what do they need in order to get them up and running and doing the job well. And this is important, because the faster you can give someone wins, the faster that you can get them going in the right direction, the better they're going to feel about the job, and the longer they're going to stay. If someone gets in and you're spending weeks and just trying to get them up to speed, and I got to train you on this, but I don't have time. I need to get you a key cut to get into the place. But those things take, the longer that takes, the less they're going to understand, the less chance they're going to stick with you. So understand that, work with that, have a plan. Here are the things they need to know. Here's how they're going to get that. Here's how we're going to bring them in. And that onboarding process needs to be ready. And once you have that ready, and it's so much easier. This person, go train them. I'm going to take you for doing this. We're going to have a structured plan. The first 3 days, maybe business is slow. Maybe we'll have to take a pause on business or find some way to manage it. But you need to get this person up and running. Also, by the way, and this is important in employee retention, is in the interviewing, you got to ask the right questions. And I put this important part which I missed, but you need to know what questions like, what kind of manager, what kind of company do you want to work for? What do you like in the management? What is your job? What do you like in the job, and what rewards you? Rewarding questions, finding out how people's rewarding system is very important. A lot of people that just want to be acknowledged for the hard work they're putting in. Maybe some people just want money, give me the money, I'll do the job, and we're fine. But if you want to keep employees, you want to make them happy, understand who they are, what's important to them. Because if you can just say, hey, great job, I say, work with that client and they did great, putting up employee of the month. Those types of things, as corny as that may seem, that makes employees feel appreciated, seen, and understood. And that will keep somebody around. And this works whether you're in a big corporation, whether you're a small cog in a big machine, or whether this person is a big part of your business. Understanding what drives them, what their motivations are, helps you keep them happy, because then, maybe it is a bonus award at the end of the year. Maybe if you have this in your agreement, once we get to a certain point, I'll be able to give you a little bit more money, some recognition there. Thank you very much. Those things will keep people around, along with the onboarding process. If you don't have that onboarding process and give them the chance to go, hey, great job, and you're always having to figure, okay, you're not getting this done yet. Oh, you're not doing it right. Let me show you again. These types of things are going to bring down the morale, and they're going to have you back out and looking for another person. And it's an employee market. So make sure that you cover that off. Make sure that what you do in that onboarding process allows them to get their wins early. Take the time, give them a little bit extra attention to get them going, because once your employees are this employee, whether they're a virtual assistant, whether they're in-house in your brick and mortar, or they're customer facing or not customer facing, the better that relationship is, the better it's going to be. They're going to treat your customers better. They're going to work harder. They're going to be more satisfied. You're going to be more satisfied. Your business is going to grow. If you are of the mindset that, okay, I'm just paying you, just do this thing and you're going to be done, that's going to work to a certain extent. But in an employee market, you're going to be the receiving end of this flack. And you're not wrong in that you are the employee paying them. You're right. But if you're also just saying, your satisfaction is on you, then you're going to have problems as a business owner. You are going to have churn with your employees, you're going to have churn with your clients, and you're always going to be at this. So whether you agree with it or not, doing these small little things makes a big difference in the end, makes your company stronger, makes you go a lot better. And again, it's retention. It's easier to keep an employee, just like a customer. It's easier to keep one than it is to go find a new one. And so this comes down to having things that help them, celebrate them. Maybe it's an employee picnic. Maybe it's a night out every once in a while. Maybe you take them to a pub, a nice restaurant or something, rewarding them and just letting them know that I appreciate you. You're been a part of this process, and you're even if it's just especially early on, it's good to have them feel like they're part of the family, making sure they feel like this is working for them and making sure it works for you. And by the way, the onboarding process is kind of part and parcel with onboarding, but also at the end is having an exit plan. If somebody isn't going to work out, because let's say you've done the employee retention, you're trying to figure out what's going on with them, you're making them happy, you're doing what you can, but some things just don't work out. Their lives change, your business changes, something happens, and they need to go. Then you need to have that exit process ready. I gave them a key. It's essentially take your onboarding process and do it in reverse. I gave them a key. I gave them these passwords. I gave them this. So you just go backwards through that. Take the key, remove them from the systems, do all that, and that onboarding process becomes the exit process. And that allows you to be more efficient in getting on to the next thing that comes along. So, but in that in-between phase, make sure that you're doing what you can to make them feel appreciated. If you're a business manager, you're part of a large corporation, ask for a little bit of a budget. Maybe you do it out of your own. I rewarded as a manager in a couple of areas where I've been hiring manager several times, and I've taken out of my own pockets because I was getting paid enough because I was a manager and more than what they were, and I wanted to show them my appreciation for them. And it really did help. And it came in different ways, and you can find different, simple little. One of the things I did one time was it was a call center, and very high tech, very highly technical jobs. And what ended up happening was we wanted to help them. It was a boring Sunday, and we were working quiet days, and I would have them, hey, if you can find this information, I'll give you this, like a gift card for a coffee shop or something like that. And I would have them doing scavenger hunts, and it made the day fun. It helped improve their understanding of the technical resources that were available to them, and it showed them I appreciated them. It just was a good situation. Just one example, but people felt better about being on the shift and getting through that long slog. There's many ways you can do it, but if you know your employees, if you interviewed them and know who they are, and you've spent time around them because you're working together, then you can figure out how it is to make sure that they're happy and continuing on, and you can avoid having to do that exit process as long as possible. So there you have it. And coming up on a half hour, what I wanted to do is just go around back here and just remember, it's a process. The whole thing, whether you have been around for a long time and you are a big company and just a small division, anytime you have to bring in resources in order to alleviate a situation, then it really does help you to have this process. Understand the roles and responsibilities. Understand what it is that's going to help make the goal of the business accomplished. And how are you getting there? How is it that's going to help you and the rest of your team to figure it out? Create those job roles, create the posts, create the profile, and understand what it is who it is that you're trying to bring in. Understand their personality as well as the description of the role. Figure out where is the best place to post for the type of role that you're going to. Where are those people? Who are they? What do they look like? What do they sound like? What do they act like? Interview. Do a whole bunch of interviews. Have the checklists. Understand what it is which is going to make things different. Which skills of these 5 or 10 or whoever number of people that you're going to interview, which skills are the ones with the personality types are the people that you're going to want to bring in. Onboard them, get them ready, get them up and get them going as quickly as possible. Give them the wins. They will stick around. They'll be happier. Understand them through the interview questions and make sure that you know who they are, what they want, and that will allow you to be more effective at being a good manager for them. And then make sure they're happy, make sure the retention is high, and keep that churn low. If you have any problems if you're going through this process, even if you're just a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a small business, a marketing manager, give us a call at Jade Strategic Relations. We can help you with this process and help you understand the big picture, take a step back. We've got worksheets and workflows to help you understand who it is that you're trying to do, and what it is you're trying to do, and who it is that you need to get in these roles, and how to get yourself and your team winning and growing and doing better. And it's not that difficult. It doesn't take a lot, but it does take specific strategies in around that. So thank you very much. I hope you found this information valuable. Please, if you'd like to, give a thumbs up. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're trying to grow it and trying to get the word out there, the messaging as we can for business and communications. And hit the bell for notifications for more. Keep your eye on all social media. We're going to be putting these things on throughout the year, once a week, to try to provide different aspects of business and communications that are going to help you grow. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.